Good evening. This is CTV News for November 8th. I'm Patricia Vallone. Thank you for joining us. Topping our news tonight, a display of American flags line Route 3 in Crofton. The red, white, and blue display honors local veterans, servicemen and women, and first responders. As Veterans Day approaches this Monday, CTV's Katira Jones takes us to the patriotic venue.
For some people, when they see an American flag, they think of the sacrifices that our men and women of our military have made. But for one local group, these flags mean so much more.
Being part of this last week, putting the flags up, it's special. It warms your heart.
Kathy and her husband, State Senator Edward Riley, both had fathers who served in World War II. The Rileys, along with community members, have dedicated these flags to veterans, current servicemen and women, and first responders.
Folks came home and they didn't ask for much. They weren't looking for glory and whatnot. But this is our way of thanking them and thanking everyone who served.
3 years ago, the Crofton Rotary Club began putting these flags in front of Lake Louise. Today, the Crofton Kiwanis Club has taken over the tradition known as Flags for Heroes.
You see, if you wander through the flags, is that many of the flags have dedication plaques. So people who have sponsored individual flags, many of them are dedicated to brothers, sisters, children, grandparents. There are tags there for World War II and World War I heroes, as well as people who are currently serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I think that's just very important to both the families and the community to identify and acknowledge their sacrifice.
All proceeds from flag sponsors will go to the Anne Arundel Volunteer Fire Department.
People from all over Crofton and all over the area come by and take a look at it. And it's a lot of fun actually for Kiwanis and the Rotary Club folks and some Boy Scouts that helped us put up the flags. As we're putting them up or taking them down, you hear trucks beeping, people stopping and cheering.
Organizers say these American flags will remain here until November 16th. Reporting in Crofton, Katira Jones, CTV News.
And the group also puts up the flags during Memorial Day weekend. Well, Veterans Day for some is a day off from work, but for millions of men and women in the U.S., it's a day of honor and remembrance. Congressman Anthony Brown and the Veterans Commission held a resource fair earlier this morning at the Sports and Learning Center. Keisha Butts was there and spoke with vets about what the holiday means to them.
The Veterans Commission and Congressman Anthony Brown are hosting a resource fair at the Wayne K. Curry Sports and Learning Center. It showcases the different programs and resources available to former men and women who served in our armed forces. As Veterans Day is on Monday and millions of vet services will be remembered, we wanted to speak to people about what that holiday means to them.
This is the day that we're going to take time to recognize the service of men and women over the course of this history in this country have been really in the sentinels of democracy and liberty. The men and women who've been willing to put on the uniform to do a very difficult and often dangerous task, and that's to ensure the freedom of the United States of America.
I look at Veterans Day as a day to honor those who didn't come back from any war, or who did not come back whole, came back physical and emotional losses.
Was assigned to Eglin Air Force Base in Florida and Zweibrücken Air Base in Germany from 1982 to 1987. Recognizing the veteran is important to me because we have the freedoms to do the things that we need to do within the Constitution of the United States. A lot of people don't realize that people have died for their freedom.
Do you appreciate the vets that came before you?
Oh yeah, very much so. They gave up so much for their life. They've actually paid the bill for everybody to walk around with freedom today. If they didn't do what they did, regardless of what branch of service they were in, we wouldn't be in the condition, the environment we're in today.
It means that I am noticed because I saw the way the Vietnam veterans came home, and it wasn't a very nice world. But now I can honestly say I am proud to be a veteran. We have a lot of respect now from the community. I'm glad I've joined the American Legion because it has helped me give back to the community.
As a son of a veteran, my father was in the United States Navy, and I had a veterans breakfast actually last week in Bowie, recognizing our veterans as part of that process, the service that they provided us to our country, to the freedoms that we have today. And so it's our way of giving back and saying thank you.
One former airman says you should shake the hands of veterans on Monday. At the Wayne K. Curry Sports and Learning Center, Keisha Butt, CTV News.
And that event was held from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. Well, hundreds of senior veterans were honored today during a special luncheon. In addition to a formal program with guest speakers and recognition of the various military branches, vets got a chance to sit among their peers and reminisce about old times.
We are honoring all of our Prince George's County residents who are 60 and better and who have served in our military forces, so it's a celebration event.
The senior veterans and stuff are starting to disappear, and I hope everybody will recognize the job that the 1% of our population, maybe a little less of 1%, has done for the rest of the populations. We have all these freedoms and these luxuries because folks in the military have sacrificed for it.
And today's luncheon was held at Martin's Crosswinds in Greenbelt. The daughter of a former state delegate, Tawana Gaines, pleads guilty to wire fraud. Anitra Edmond admitted in federal court today that she took $35,000 in campaign funds for personal use. Edmond was the treasurer of her mother's campaign committee. She faces up to 20 years in prison. Former Delegate Gaines has pleaded guilty to similar charges. Prosecutors say she used $22,000 in campaign funds for personal expenses. She will be sentenced in January. State police identified the tow truck driver killed in Wednesday's hit-and-run accident in Temple Hills. He is 63-year-old David Alvarez of Washington, D.C. Police say Alvarez was assisting a vehicle on the shoulder of Branch Avenue and Coventry Way when he was fatally struck. Officers are still looking for the suspect vehicle. They say it may be a 1999 to 2007 white or beige Cadillac Escalade. If you have any information on the incident, you're asked to call police.